Today is another day among all of the holiday days, and we've got a fun grab bag of an episode for you today. So let's do it. Let's talk Yanks.
Talking Yanks with old Jomboy and Jake. Recaps galore and weekly awards. Stat lines, steaming hot takes. Your Yankees news with these two fine dudes. It's time for Talking Yanks. Talking Yanks with old Jomboy and Jake. Talking Yanks with old Jomboy and Jake.
Hello and welcome to Talkin' Yanks. We hope you're doing well. We hope you're having fantastic days. And we've got a grab bag episode for you. We did the winter meetings. We rolled out the Marley interview in full. We rolled out the K interview in full because there's a lot of Yankees talk. We did a lot of Yankees talk with the other guys, a lot of DJ talk, a lot of other talk. And we're like, you know what? Let's just mix all that together. Little compilation Yankees talk. Hoodie Glaber helped putting this together. So shout out to him. And I mean, who do we got on here? We got Costas, Rosenthal, Buster,
Passan? Did we talk any Yankees
maybe
with him? Or
Passan,
he just made
Eno,
made fun of me the
maybe,
whole time.
Eno, yeah.
Duquette,
Maybe
Eno
Foolish
Sarris.
Baseball.
Hopefully not.
Ow.
might not be any of him in there.
May not. Wow.
We'll
So
see.
there's a whole bunch. So enjoy it. Here you go. To the interviews we go. Baseball.
Most
There we
well
go.
known, most well known from the GM files.
Most well known from the GM files. Jim Duquette. When winter meetings was happening and you were a GM, like what's your day to day that week? Is it text messages, emails, phone calls? Like what's the first line of communication with another team? Is it GM to GM or is it your assistant or someone in your department to someone in their department? Like nitty gritty. Like what's the very first step of a trade?
So really, the main you're having those conversations before you get to the winter meetings, and then you're following up to because you're not going to fit or match with all 29 teams. It might be 5 or 6, and so it's and at the winter meetings it's a combination of teams, and usually I was pretty active and wanted to have that dialogue myself. Usually the assistant or somebody in your department would call. Let's set up a meeting, and you'd have these face-to-face meetings at the winter meetings. And part of the trick when the media was there was being able to go from floor to floor without having to go through the lobby. If you could ever figure that out, so you didn't get caught by the media, you're looking for the hotel map to figure out. That was the biggest challenge sometimes, especially like in Nashville. Like every section of Nashville. The hotel there looks the same. So you're trying to figure out like, where the hell am I, and so I think that would be part of it was the conversations, usually texting first. And then, there'd be that in person, because I still felt like in person, if you could take advantage of that more often than not, because there were very few times that we're ever together in the same building, that I felt like was, a better way to do deals. Now, when I first started out, the first GM that I worked for, Frank Cashin, said that you could tell the number of deals that might happen by the size of the bar in the suite. So you used to have be a lot of drinking going on. Okay, you're going to do some deals during the winter meetings. Now, right around my period of time, we changed over to bottled water and diet soda and coffee. We too much liability on the alcohol side, I guess.
There's probably some really bad deals that went down over a few too many scotches.
Let me tell you, Trevor. There are a lot of deals that went down. The next morning, you're like, I need to undo that deal. Like there are some. I know Kevin Towers and I believe Brian Cashman did a deal that way, where they're like, okay, let's talk again the next morning, and then like, no. I didn't mean to talk. I did not mean to trade my best player for 2 of your prospects. No, we're going to undo that.
You were talking about that Anderson? I thought you meant this Anderson.
Right.
I have one last question.
Okay, the last question.
Sure.
What's if you got the pick of the litter? You're me playing my video game alone at night. Me and the dog. You get to pick your team. I mean, and it could be how about their current state of the team, and you get either, are you looking at minor league? Are you looking at budget? I'm sure it's a combination, but I guess if you could jump in any chair right now, which one would you want?
Oh man, that's a great question. By the way, that felt real. Playing the video game alone with the dog. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's
oddly real. Oddly real.
I mean, it's hard to say that you don't want to be GM of the Dodgers. That's the most iconic franchise. Their system isn't as strong as it used to be, but man, they're doing some really good things, even in player development. They're ahead of the curve in so many things on an analytic front too. So I would probably pick the Dodgers for the the level of resources that they have just seem like even more than what the Yankees have. So it's for me, it's either Dodgers or Yankees. I'd probably pick the Dodgers.
I thought those would be the options.
That's a good pick.
Want to go to
That's a good pick.
All right. Hey,
those are pretty good.
Thank you very much for sitting down and hanging out with us
guys.
for a little bit.
Check
Appreciate
out
it.
GM
Everyone,
Files.
check out GM Files.
Baseball.
Are joined by
Hello.
Wow, Uncle
What's up, boys?
Passan.
Breaking news.
Passan.
It's pretty
There's
good.
one area that Jeff and I are going to become friends over.
Okay.
Like, if
Baseball?
there's one thing we have in common.
Start
It's
with
not
baseball.
Okay.
it's our disdain for Jake Storiale. Like,
Okay.
we're going to get by just on our mutual hate for Jake. It's great.
No, I don't have disdain for Jake.
You kind of do. You have the same hate that I have. You hate him like a younger brother who kind
It's
of
like-
pisses you off. all
It's
the time.
like,
No, hold on. No. We have to, I asked you guys to have one thing before this, and that was a video clip of Jake being a moron at the winter meetings last year. Do we have that queued up?
we can get that queued up. I sent that to producer Big Baby David. And again, moron's getting thrown around really loosely.
No,
because
that fits.
ad
That is
marketing.
very, very appropriate here. And I did not.
You gave me a stern
Dislike
talking to.
Yeah, I did.
Yes.
Or I think I did on behalf of my producer,
Well,
Charlie
yeah.
Moynihan, who would have beat the shit out of you.
I don't
and
doubt
wanted
that
to.
for a second.
Really wanted to. And
There were passerbys walking by all winter meetings. I don't know why I walk by
You
with
da-
a
weren't
little
you
hop in, a
weren't
little pep in my
you
step.
dancing?
And I'm a bad guy?
Weren't you dancing shirtless with a bottle of wine in your hands?
No.
yes,
We have
dancing sure did with a bottle of wine.
I
Hold
mean,
on. It was like this. I'm gonna do
Okay,
the
let's
Jake
act it out.
Storiale walk by.
we'll see you act it out first. Okay. Yeah. What's wrong with that? Okay, we have it up on the screen now. I don't know if you can see that. It's partially blocking my face, which is fine. I do nothing wrong. I'm walking. I'm an excited little boy whose favorite baseball team just signed a good player. I don't think.
Before he did that, he said, "Watch this. I'm gonna go piss off Jeff."
Yes, that's exactly right. I'm sure he did that.
I mean, I don't know. I think if.
Hey, is this actually changed for you? We had Kay on, and I know you just went on Kay's show and talking about winter meetings. Like, for media, or really just reacting, you're actually out there trying to figure out what's going on and let the public know and get scoops and stuff. And I'm guessing everyone in one place makes it easier. So for some people, it's like, well, it's the same shit anyway. But for you, is this actually much more difficult or no?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. It's like at the winter meetings, nobody of, I mean, I hate to say this because you guys are in the lobby all day. Nobody of substance or consequence goes into the lobby.
It's
just a bunch.
That's also what
It's just
Duquette just told us. He's like,
I told you, hey, Jake.
Oh,
I told
Jakey,
you.
I'm sorry.
Coming out now.
we were
I'm
lobby
sorry.
rats.
We were lobby rats.
Oh,
Still are.
you think?
Yeah.
Still
well,
are.
You guys were walking around with your shirts, ambushing people, just giving them away.
Roosevelt.
shout out
You were-
Roosevelt's 20% off.
I was gonna say I just did that intentionally so you could give your people a shout out. No, you guys were like job seekers, except you had a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really good way to put it.
It's kind of the plan.
Yeah.
If we're being honest.
Duquette told us that all the GMs find the hallways and elevators that are behind the scenes so you don't walk through the lobby, which is true. But it is funny when Cashman signed Cole last year. Where was he 10 minutes later, strutting his ass through the lobby, taking pictures with me and Jake, hugging us and stuff. Like, that's like where they show face when they're happy at the end.
Yeah, that's where you do your victory lap. No question about it. And here's the thing, like it used to be they would make their faces a little more present in the lobby, especially like late at night. You know, the best lobby GM that there was, rest his soul, God bless him forever, was Kevin Towers. Kevin Towers would stay out. He would drink with writers. When Dave Sheinin was doing his piano thing at night, he would be there with him. Cashman one night, actually. This is maybe my favorite winter meeting story that has never been told. And I can't tell the full gory details, but Dave Sheinin, who is the extraordinarily talented baseball writer at the Washington Post, actually should be a professional musician because he's as good, if not better, at that. And he plays the piano, you know, no sheet music, nothing like that, just by sound. He knows what to do. And he takes requests. And right after Jason Giambi had missed, like, it was almost the full season with a pituitary tumor, right? Mm-hmm. Somebody sees Cashman and requests that Sheinin plays Stand By Your Man. And Sheinin played Stand By Your Man for Brian Cashman with Jason Giambi lyrics. And Cashman was so appreciative of that, he reached into his pocket, took out some cash, and left him a tip in his empty bourbon glass.
Lindor. Where's the Lindor going?
Toronto or New York. Tough
Yankees?
No, he's not going to the Yankees.
God damn it, Jeff.
I was like, what?
I love that you dropped that on them. Thank you, Jeff.
You think that was an accident? Come on, guys.
I don't want him in Toronto for a long time.
Baseball.
We got Bailey. You probably know him as Foolish Baseball YouTube account. This was brought to you by Roosevelt's. Well, tell us what you know about where Lindor's going.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, because I'm in the know. I'm catching up with all the hot goss guys, and I think he is going to end up with the New York Yankees either way. I just don't know if it's this season.
Ooh.
Well, I hate to tell you,
that's why we had you on.
We just had Jet Passan on, Jeff's alter ego, Jet, and he said no chance.
He said no. Well, you know what? We're just gonna.
Indoor to the Yankees.
I know a lot more than he does. I'm a big insider. He's just this guy who's running his mouth on the internet. So we'll see what happens.
Baseball.
We're joined by one of the kings, Buster Olney. Slippery
but
slope.
I do one more question. I'll keep it a yes or no, so we can let you go. You scared me a lot with the Blue Jays talk, so I need a yes here. But you can be honest. DJ LeMahieu returning to the Yankees? Yes or no?
My guess is yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Perfect.
We'll end it there. That's amazing. Thank you very much, Buster. We appreciate this.
The best.
Okay, guys. Great to talk with you. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Baseball.
All right, this interview is brought to you by Roosevelt. We got Ken Rosenthal here. Just tell me DJ will return to the Yankees so we can end on a happy note.
I can't guarantee things, Jimmy.
Okay.
Can't.
All right. But a yes.
I would guess that he would.
All right.
Okay.
There we
How can
go.
you bet against it? I mean, you have to think that's going to happen.
All right. Awesome.
But
Thank
they're
you.
going to have to pay.
Yeah. They'll pay up. All right. Thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Baseball.
Eno Sarris literally brought to us by Roosevelt's. How about
Yes. Let's get him in the big screen. There he is. Next up.
Arenado.
Arenado, Roosevelt shirt.
Eno, can I ask you a prediction question? Because we've talked about DJ a lot today, but not about actual numbers. And I've been on record saying he's not going to get $25 million a year.
He's not getting.
I would cap him at $20 million a year probably, and I was thinking probably 418 AAV would probably be my guess.
So I said 470 today to the Yankees.
470. That's what I said. People jumped down my throat when I compared him to Mike Moustakas.
But why? No, but why? Why is a lot of people saying that's crazy to the Yankees? Somebody retweeted me and said it was crazy. Like, what's crazy about it? It's
crazy
too little money.
The Yankees
470 to the Yankees. Like, what's crazy?
Yeah,
about
because
that?
when I said he has a similar career. His career numbers are similar to Mike Moustakas. Obviously, his last 3 or 4 years have been
a little bit better
banner
defense,
years.
better body,
a little better defense. I mean, who knows how you're going to age? Everyone ages differently, and he's 32 years old now. Right now, I said 464 is the jumping point. And that's what Mike Moustakas got. He's got to get a little bit of bump for that. So I mean, I'm right around your area too. 470, whatever 418 is, whatever that is.
And he's probably worth more to the Yankees, honestly, than to other teams because he's got that oppo stroke, and he can kind of hit it over that porch. So I don't like a team like the Cardinals. Do you know how he's going to play in St. Louis every day? He's played in Colorado and New York at home. I don't know. I don't think the Cardinals aren't spending money anyway. So
yeah. So if there's not a huge market for him, I mean, obviously the Yankees know that.
Yeah, that's why I don't think 100 is happening, and that's why I also think the Yankees will get him because I just don't see a team. The other team that could sign him are the Nationals. They have the worst non-shortstop infield in baseball.
Well, that's because they only signed 30.
They just laid everybody off.
They only signed 30-plus-year-old guys that can play multiple positions and have a B- bat.
Starting Castro.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So he does fit that.
Well, yeah, or starting pitchers, right?
I don't think I don't see DJ aging that poorly.
They just don't have any. They don't have any money.
Like a 5-year deal for DJ. I know it sounds crazy because he's going to take him to 37, but speed isn't part of his game. Power isn't part of his game. Like he's a battler and he hits singles. And once you say defense, you slide him over the first for the last 2 years. He can pick it over there. So, like, I'm not incredibly worried about.
Yeah. Do you want that guy as your first baseman that can't hit homers?
Well, he was a first baseman for us.
Daniel Murphy.
He was first baseman for us in 2019.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Maybe some
Daniel
third
Murphy.
base too.
Yeah, you go to third too.
Yeah.
Daniel Murphy. They're the same, but Daniel Murphy carries a bunch of weird around with him.
And a little weird. Trev, your biggest thing in that argument that you had going for you was the age thing, because I think LeMahieu hits this free agency, and I think he's 2 years older than Moose was when he hit free agency. So, when you start playing with those later years, it gets a little bit scary. Performance-wise, you were comparing their careers, which on paper do look pretty similar, but LeMahieu being a top 5 MVP the past 2 seasons.
Platform seasons, 100%.
Multiplied by crazy Yankee fans, and that's what both of you ran into. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if the Nationals have any money, then maybe there's a bidding war. But the Nationals just laid off like everybody. So
look, if DJ's agents want to call me, I will just put out there, look, there's a mystery team. Mystery team's coming in. Yankees better pay up.
I mean, there's a guy for that. His name's John Heyman.
Yeah, I'll be that guy. If they want to pay me a little stipend, hey.
That's what happens when agents are your sources.
Just hit up Boris.
Me either.
We haven't talked about this all day because it doesn't pass a sniff test for me, but that reported supposed trade of Jameson Taillon and Josh Bell to the Yankees, I mean, it doesn't make a lick of sense to me. It's kind of the exact opposite of what the Yankees need right now, another injury-prone pitcher and someone that doesn't have a position in the field. Do you think that is likely?
I mean, I guess you would have to imagine that Luke Voit was going out.
You'd have to imagine that they trade Voit, which also it doesn't make sense to me as well.
I mean, he's a good hitter, you're not sure as much about Bell. I think I'm more sure about Voit than I am about Bell. I think the one thing is that maybe they're excited about getting Taillon, and the one thing that I would say is with David Garcia and Clark Schmidt, which I like those guys. If you put in Taillon, you can kind of be like, these 3 equal 1 rotation spot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We
one very good pitcher.
We had these 3. We had Jameson on the show, and I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying the Yankees have taken on injury-prone pitchers before and recently, and gotten smacked in the face with it. And if they were to take on another, and then he was to get injured in the middle of the season, I think you'd have to be like, oh, I think this is an us problem.
Also, second TJ is worse than the first. I mean, the comeback from that, I don't know. I think you'd have to wait and see Taillon pitch. Maybe it's like, hey, we're interested in those guys. Maybe we'll trade for them later. We need to see Taillon pitch.
I also saw Josh Bell swing and miss in a batting practice session at every single pitch.
You hold that over his head,
and I can't get the visual out of my head. He walked up, he swung and missed at 5 batting practice pitches.
You were shocked.
Didn't put one in play. what I would do maybe. I think, and then walked off and was like, "That's my batting practice." And I can't get that visual out of my head. I was shocked. I was like, "What?"
That's funny because he has a good strikeout rate. I saw Keon Broxton do that, but that was Keon Broxton.
Yeah.
Well, I think the pitcher was giving him nothing, and he was just like, "Fuck
probably
this."
a bad BP pitcher.
Yeah, I'm out. But it was just shocking. I was like, "What?"
If I'm the Yankees, I am 1,000. And look, I think this guy's a good player too, but I'm 1,000% shopping Luke Voigt.
No way.
I mean, you want to sell guys at the top of their value. This guy's at the top of his value.
But
that's a good point.
They have no one else. Like, he's the most consistent, cheap hitter on the team right now.
But what if you sign Schwarber for $7 million and trade Voigt for something better?
I don't think
I just
Voigt's
think
better than
he's
Schwarber.
The guy that you look to trade.
I think it would
Like
have
when-
to be like Voigt being part of like the Lindor trade or something.
Yeah,
which now seems like it's off the table.
It would have to
the
be
two
huge.
Big reporters tell us Lindor's not going to the Yankees.
Or for pitchers, but Voigt, when healthy, there's a stretch where he's bad because he had a rusty belly button or something. I forget the injury. And besides that, he's been by and far the best hitting first baseman
he
in
hits
the league.
ball hard.
I agree with all that. I get it, but like, dude, like winning teams,
I don't
teams
think
take advantage of these situations. Are they can sustain that. They trade the guy when he needs to be traded. I've told you guys this before. Warren Buffett says I've made a fortune selling my stocks too early. Like that's what you have to do. You can't wait till he has a blow up season,
but he's still cheap.
and then try to trade him.
I don't think his actual value will be appreciated on the market where the Yankees would get a return for how much.
How old is he?
28 or 29,
something like that.
But Trev, he made his debut in 2018.
He hasn't like hit 600 plate appearances in a season, so
it's time, man.
It's the sell high argument. We've done this a lot on Talkin' Yanks. I mean, Cashman, he likes to sell high, and there's not a ton on the Yankees right now. It's like him or Urshela, which, I mean, gun to your head, I think you'd even say Voigt. So it's I don't know. The Yanks are in a weird. We did this with Michael Kay a little bit. There's a lot of moving pieces with the young guys in the rotation and how rotations are used nowadays coming off this season. Like you're saying with Tyone, you're basically making a three-man rotation into one person with Davey and Clark.
They right now, Davey and Clark are in the rotation, and I think one of the things they need to do this offseason is maybe push them out.
Yeah.
I mean, I love them. I love them.
They need pitching. I think they're going to try and go to the bargain bin of veterans and bring in a Kluber and bring in, who was the other guy that we had? Garrett Richards, and bring in these guys on short deals.
Because if they do get hurt, then you bring in Davey. You know,
I wouldn't. I mean, Felix Hernandez might get a spring training invite. Like I think the Yankees are going to try and do a lot of grab bag with their rotation, like that, unless they do make a trade or they sign Odo or Tanaka, but I don't really see that happening.
I see them getting one pitcher that's like a little bit better, like Sagano, or I see Tanaka coming back. Why not?
But yeah, so if they get Tanaka, I still think they're going to go try and get that.
Yeah, then a couple more grab bag. Then you start with Davey and Clark in the minors, and then the first person who gets hurt, Davey comes up.
Yeah, I think that's the plan.
That's the dream.
It's not an amazing rotation by any means, but you need Severino to come back, and you need Herman to come back, and you need them to be closer to top tier. Because if I remind people, top tier Severino is a true ace, and Herman at his best was really, really good. Now, I doubt you're going to get those guys at their best, but if they were to do that,
if Herman comes back as less than best, then he would be an awesome reliever.
He'd be the perfect put him into the bullpen come postseason time, and they missed out on that in 2019 because he turned out to be a bad guy off the field.
Right.
Passan.
Oh, we have breaking news?
Passan.
Not really breaking news, just a Brian Cashman quote about Glaber's defense.
Okay.
He's more than capable of playing short, but I acknowledge he's a better second baseman than a shortstop.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna move.
You
know what that means?
DJ.
You know what that means? That means that's a shot at DJ. Why would Cashman come at that quote other than that's to poke?
Yeah,
the
we're not giving you $100 million, DJ.
We'll slide DJ. We'll slide Glaber over, and we'll find a shortstop.
Didi for a year and $5 million, or $10 million,
or Simmons for a year. Cashman doesn't speak unless there's a purpose behind it. Because why would he say that? There's no reason.
The report this morning also, Bob Clappish reported. I finally found the original source.
Okay.
Yankees' initial offer to DJ was 4 for $68.
It was tied. It was, oh my God, 4 for $68.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I was trying to say that earlier because you guys were like, "Oh, you had the."
That's hilarious.
And DJ countered with 5 for 125. So
okay.
And the quote was tied to the offer.
No,
different.
Two separate reports.
Okay.
Cashman had this quote about Glaber just now.
So wait,
and there was a report this morning.
468, 5, 125.
Those were both of their initial offers.
They land at 485.
Maybe 480, yeah.
Yeah. 490.
He's not going to get 20 mil a year. I just don't see it. I just do not see it.
It's been really good, Trev.
Yeah.
I know it's also recency bias. You guys are really enthralled with what he's done the last couple of years.
But that's how you give out contracts.
What are we going to pay him for his high
You
school?
need another team. You need another team who's going to bid him up.
You used to give teams used to reward guys for that. They do not give out contracts for what you've done anymore. They try to project and give you contracts based on that.
Then why is Simeon going to get a 1-year contract and DJ is going to get a 4-year contract?
Because Simeon's defense is rated really badly, and he's old, and he had 1 year with a league average bat.
DJ's
he's good.
Those guys are different players, but DJ.
Yeah.
I think Eno mentioned it also. The Yankees need him more. He's worth more to the Yankees than he is 29 other teams.
Sure.
So maybe they'll overpay. I don't know. I'm just thinking in my mind, I think that's right around what he'll get. 474, something like that, which is a lot of money, man. He earned it.
I think it'll be higher. I think the Yankees are going to have to swallow a little bit of pride because they need him, and he's been really good. Unless they get this is where DJ's camp gets in trouble, because if they let the Yankees linger on we missed out on DJ, what's the next steps? The more time that Cashman and his crew can formulate that plan, the more time they might start getting really excited about that plan and be like, whatever, if we think we can package for Lindor, or we're going to slide Glaber back to second and we're going to bring back Didi, or we're going to bring in Simmons for 1 year. And the more, I think Cash might start talking himself into that backup plan. That's why I think he comes out with this quote, because why else would you say that right now publicly?
Yeah. Tomorrow his quote's going to be like, "Oh, I really love Andrelton Simmons' defense."
Well, they do. They love Simmons.
They've loved him.
They have quotes about loving him already.
And then there'll be a John Heyman quote that's like 8 teams in on DJ LeMahieu.
And a mystery team.
At least 3 offers of $100 million.
Yeah. Dude, Heyman, I have too many followers now to do this anymore, because I used to just quote tweet all of his bullshit and be like, what the fuck is this? But he had he tweets a lot. He had a really good one the other day, Jake, where it's like, what?
Let's see what we got. It's all the endings, man.
Folks are convinced the Angels are determined to add a top-of-the-rotation starter. Cy Young winner Trevor Bauer is the obvious option. No, that's not it. Oh, yeah. Top trade options are Sonny and Blake. It's like, so what?
Dude.
So what did we do?
I've done a lot of reporting on Sonny. I love Sonny to death. He's just not coming back to New York, dude.
No, it's not. It would be like, why would you do that? If that goes, it's the same thing.
Can't risk it.
Why would you risk that?
He could go to the Mets, but he's not going to Yankee Stadium, dude.
Ooh.
Even Sonny would try to block it, dude. It's just not. It's not happening.
Mets would be fun. Boy, that would be a fun Yankees-Mets
The
game.
lights get just as bright over in Queens as they do.
I don't think it's the lights.
They hate their players just as much.
But I mean, if it was Larry, he's gone, and they got Matt Blake and basically Garrett Cole's the pitcher.
You're right. It's a different situation, but I just think it's a park thing. I think he'll be like, I don't like that park.
Yeah, he was good on the road, and Garrett Cole's basically the pitching coach now.
Baseball.
And now we are joined by the one and only Bob Costas. Thank you very much for joining us, Bob. We talked about with Michael about how he couldn't do a game. I believe he was getting throat surgery or he was recovering, and it was a doubleheader, and you stepped in, and he said he made a joke about how they went and got the best to replace him instead of the next up and comer. But I remember that day, and it was so much fun to have you on our local broadcast for 2 games in a row with David Cohn and Paul O'Neill replacing Kay. How did that come to be? Did they ask you to do it and you just volunteered?
Yeah, John Filippelli, who is the president of the Yes Network, for a long time was one of my producers at NBC. He was in the truck for the famous 1988 World Series and the Kirk Gibson home run. Vin Scully's call, obviously, is what people remember, and it was fantastic, and Jack Buck on radio. But when you look back at the way that moment was directed by Harry Coyle and produced by John Filippelli and Mike Weissman, if they were making a movie, they couldn't have done it any better, and they had to cut it in real time. So, and Flip had also been the producer when I was hosting the football show. So Flip and I were very close, and he asked me if I would do it. And Smoltz and I were doing the Friday night game. So I'd already prepared for the Red Sox and the Yankees. So I just turned around and did the doubleheader with Cohn and O'Neill, and it was a lot of fun. And I was able to talk about things you can't talk about on a network broadcast, about how I grew up on Long Island listening to Mel Allen and Red Barber and rooting for the Mickey Mantle, Whitey Ford, Yogi Berra Yankees. And, you know, it was just a fun thing to do.
Mike always talks about how there's no policing Paulie. You know, he talks when he wants to talk. He talks about what he wants to talk about.
Right.
Did they give you any warning? Like, hey, just let O'Neill run.
You know, I kind of sensed that from watching it. You know, living in New York, I'd kind of sensed that. You know, you could do a game with just Coney. And I guess you could do a game with just Paul. But Paul is the ideal third guy because, like you say, he comes in when he wants to. He only swings at the pitchers he wants to swing at and usually hits them out of the park.
Yep. That he's like a lot of people say he's modern day Scooter up in the booth, Rizzuto, just kind of the zany color guy, which we love.
Oh snap, that was lit.
And didn't we all have a great time listening to all of those interviews, Jake?
Wow, what a treat! I liked this part the best. Oh no, someone forgot to edit that.
I actually thought this was my favorite part. Thank you. All right, thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you later. Goodbye. Go Yanks. Tell them, Grams.
Go Yankees.